And you can actually fact check me on this. Just by living or associating or being in the circle of a rich person, you are 35% more likely to become wealthy yourself. 35%. Just think about that. And the same thing is true in the inverse. By being around broke people, poor people, you're actually more likely to become poor and become broke. Now, the studies on that, it varies, so we can't really say 35%. What we know for sure is that it's for 35% if you live or just inhabit the vicinity of people who are wealthy. So, for example, you have a poor neighborhood, and in that poor neighborhood, you have maybe 2 or 3 people who are wealthy. If you can just associate with those people, you increase the chances that you're going to be wealthy by about 35%. Now, this is very important because a lot of people don't understand what habit does in their life. I'm going to tell you something, and you can also fact check me. I like it when people fact check me. I did, in fact. By the time you're 35 years old, 95% of what you do is just down to your thinking pattern, your habits. 95%. So between that time, so when you have your emotional scripting, which is when you are your first 5 years of your life, there's very little you can do with who you're going to associate with. It depends on where your parents take you to, nursery school, preschool. But then as you become more conscious of making choices about who you're going to hang out with, you want to make sure that you hang out with people who are going in the direction that you want to go. So if you want to be wealthy, you want to, just like by the time you're 18, you want to start mixing with people who are wealthy, people who have an idea of, like maybe this is where they want to go. Now, some people are going to start calling you a snob. Listen, if you want to do anything serious in life, if you want to make any progress in life, you're going to be prepared for people to label you. He's a sycophant. He's a bootlicker. He's a snob. People are going to do that. It doesn't mean that you are wrong. It means that they are intimidated by you. So, for example, if somebody comes to you and maybe you're giving off knowledge and you say, no, this is not the right way to do it. I think if this is the right way to do this. And they tell you, oversabi, it's a slang that they use in some parts of Africa. I too know. Or sometimes they say ITK. That is not an argument. It's not an argument against you. That's just a sign that the person is intimidated against you. The person is intimidated by you. So you have to understand that you got to have enough emotional intelligence to know that this is what's happening. So make sure, keep on, curating those that are around you. Keep on curating those that are around you. Even if you live in the poorest communities, and right now it's even too late for you. Right now, let's say, okay, there's very little you can do. And first and foremost, it's never too late for anybody. If you look at Colonel Sanders when he founded KSC, if you look at some other people when they did great stuff in their life, they do great stuff in their life at later stages of their lives. Anyway, if you think that, okay, maybe it's getting a bit too late for you, you might have children. Those children, they're growing up in what some people will call a ghetto, a slum, a low-rent district. If you want your children to be more successful than you, there's something that you can do. Just once in a while. Maybe you want to save up, or maybe you just want to, even if you have to borrow money, take your children out of that low-rent district, out of that slum, out of that ghetto, to a fancy hotel, to a high-scale neighborhood, to a library in a plush neighborhood, so that their minds can just conceive of what it means to live outside that neighborhood, so that they can have something to hunger for. This is the Apostle of Prosperity, and thank you for watching, and may God bless